Everyone, and welcome back to another book review. It is a very warm day where I live, so I have the windows open, so please excuse any noise that you hear from the streets outside. I just wanted some fresh air in my apartment. Today we are going to be reviewing volume 27 of the series Haikyu. So I have been reading this series for a while, as evidenced by the fact that I'm already on volume 27. I'm loving it. This is my first real attempt to read a sports manga, and I have really enjoyed it. So if you're looking for a review of volume 27, you are in the right place. So the cover of volume 27 looks like this. We have a ball being set, and it's in line with the other covers that we've seen in the series. So let's dive in and talk about the book and what I thought about the book. So volume 27 takes place during the spring tournament. The high school that we've been following, Karasuno High School, has punched their ticket and they are in Tokyo playing as the representatives from their prefecture in the tournament. And this is totally different from any of the other games they've played before. They're used to playing on a much smaller scale, on a much smaller stage, and there's a lot of hype around this high school tournament. It's where there's a lot of really talented people coming to play, very talented teams coming to play. All the teams that played have earned their spot to play in this tournament, and there's a lot of really good players. Previous to the spring tournament, in the interlude between when Karasuno High School punched their ticket to nationals to where they actually went to nationals, there were some training camps, including the Japan, I think it was like the Japan All-Youth Training Tournament, which the setter for Karasuno, Kageyama, got to attend. This was a training camp that featured Japan's best players under the age of 19. A lot of individuals were invited to attend, so it's really the cream of the crop that they are going up against in Tokyo. And the nerves are there. This is totally different. They're not used to the crowds, they're not used to the media attention, and they're not used to just the amount of pressure that's being put on them. Day one, they're playing Tsubakahara, I think that's how you say it, Academy. This is another team that they're gonna have to face, and we have to admit it, the team isn't bad. Tsubakahara won their prefecture. They won a ticket to, or at least they won a ticket to go to the spring tournament. I know that some areas allowed more than one team to go if it was a very big area, but whatever the case is, they've earned the right to be there, so they're going to be a tough team. We can't just assume that they're going to be easy to beat right off the bat. There's some struggles at the beginning. This is the first game they're playing in the tournament, and particularly we see Kageyama struggling when it comes to the height of the ceiling. He's not used to playing in a gymnasium that has such a high ceiling, and it causes his distance to be off when he's setting, which he's going to have to adjust for. So it's really all the players in Karasuno settling in, recognizing that this is volleyball, this is a sport they're good at, this is a sport they can play, and just getting comfortable and falling into the rhythm of volleyball, the sport that they all love. So Kageyama does have to adjust to the height of the ceiling. That's something that we see him doing. But there's also just the pressure of the crowds, the pressure of the fact that this is a tournament, the pressure that they could get eliminated from the tournament at any time, the pressure that third years feel or face in being that this is their last high school tournament that they are going to play in. Personally, I really love this volume. I like the way it started. Sports mangas I have found give me a lot of stress, so it is a little stressful to read, I will admit, and I know that each game that Karasuno wins, or the further they advance in this tournament, the more stressful it's going to become because the teams are going to get harder and harder. I think that this tournament is going to really showcase all of the characters that the author Haruichi Furudate has developed up to this point. I think the author has done a really good job of building characters who are on other teams that Karasuno has played against, which I really, really like. I like the fact that the people that we're playing against on the other side of the court are not just nameless people, but they feel like real characters with their own dreams and ambitions. It's something I've always said that the author does a really good job of in this series, and this holds true in the spring tournament. This is our first time seeing Tsubakahara, at least I've never recalled seeing them before up to this point in the series, but the author makes you feel like they're real people and not just pawns on the other side for Karasuno to play against for the point of plot convenience or for the plot to advance. So I really like that, and I feel like this tournament is going to incorporate a lot of those other teams that we've seen before. So we have teams back home who are watching Karasuno, we have teams that made it to the Tokyo tournament, to the spring tournament. So it's just going to be a good incorporation of everyone that we have created in this universe. Now this series does go, I believe, to volume 40 if I remember correctly, which means at volume 27 we're closing in on like the latter half of this series. So I think this might be kind of, I'll say the last hurrah, but it really is going to tie in all these characters, at least that's what I suspect, that we've built up to this point in this one tournament arc, which is really exciting to see, and I'm excited to see where this series goes. On a final minor note, I actually have been really enjoying the coach for the Tsubakahara Academy team. I think the coach for that team just has a really even keel. I feel like he doesn't get caught up in the emotions of things. I feel like he's very level-headed, and he has this really good balance that he wants to push his players, but he doesn't want to push them too hard. He has a balance there. He also, I feel like, has a good sense that sometimes more competitive people, and I'm talking to myself here because I am a very competitive person. At the end of the day, this is just a game, and I don't mean that dismissively or to dismiss these people's accomplishments, especially people in real life who work really hard at their craft, but it is a game, so you have to have a little bit of levity coming into it, or you're just going to take things way too seriously, and you have to realize that this is not the only thing in life. And I feel like the coach, well, a very minor character, and I suspect we won't see him again, I feel like has that balance down, and I really, really appreciate it, and I like that addition of that character in the series. I also have to say I like that not only are the opposing teams really fleshed out, but also the opposing coach tends to be really fleshed out, and I really enjoy it. I like seeing the thought process behind the coach as he directs the opposing team, and I like seeing the philosophy that the other coaches employ. So I've really enjoyed seeing that in this series, and I'm excited for this to continue. If you have been enjoying Haikyu, if you've been enjoying the previous entries in this series, you're going to enjoy Volume 27. If you have any thoughts on the series up to this point, please put them in the comments below. I would love to read them. Otherwise, thank you so much for watching, and I hope you have a great rest of your day.